Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I told you guys at the beginning of the year, one of my goals was to review more new makeup products and just give you guys really thorough reviews. I do purchase new makeup. I also get makeup sent to me in the mail as PR, and I want to be able to actually test things out and share the pros and the cons. That way, if you're trying to decide what to try, hopefully these videos can be helpful for you. There are so many makeup releases coming out every single week. So if I can save you money, I definitely want to be able to do that. And if I can highlight some really good products, that's my goal too. That's why I have a YouTube channel and I just love chatting about makeup. So today I'm going to be reviewing some eyeshadow palettes, a few new high-end releases, some drugstore products, and also some Colourpop products as well. So I hope today's video is helpful if you guys were thinking about trying any of these products. I do want to say thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring a portion of today's video. I love HelloFresh. I've actually been getting it for over 3 years. It's the absolute best meal kit. It just takes the stress out of meal planning and grocery shopping and meal prepping and cooking. That can be such a long, overwhelming process, and it's always stressed me out. So when we discovered HelloFresh, I actually started to enjoy cooking, and you can do it so quickly, and everything tastes so good. You get dinner on your table within 30 minutes, sometimes sooner if you're using one of their quick and easy options. The food is amazing, and HelloFresh offers so many fun recipes each week to choose from, so you can really switch it up and try something new. You never get sick of eating the same thing over and over because they're always adding new options. And my husband and I do the vegetarian option, but they also have low-calorie options, carb-smart choices, pescatarian options, along with their regular recipes as well. The produce gets to you fast, so it's always fresh. It's actually a lot better than what I can ever find at my local grocery store, and the ingredients are already pre-portioned, so we always end up wasting less food. We eat everything that comes in it. And I love that the packaging that HelloFresh uses to ship your food is almost entirely made from recyclable or already recycled content. HelloFresh is just convenient, but you can make it even more convenient if you have a super busy week or you have guests. You can add extra dinners or lunches to your weekly order, and you can throw in extras like more protein or their garlic bread. You also have the option to change your delivery days, or if you're going to be out of town, you can skip a week altogether. I love working with companies that give back, and HelloFresh is committed to it. They have donated over 4 million meals to charity in 2020, and they're still continuing to step up their food donations due to COVID. You can go to HelloFresh.com and use my code 12AndreaM to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. You will not regret it. It is such a game changer, especially now that life is starting to get back to normal and it's busy again. It will come in handy. So again, go to HelloFresh.com and use my code 12AndreaM to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. Okay, so let's start with a few eyeshadow palettes. So I did pick up the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I do have a video on my channel where I tested this out for the first time, and I did have some difficulty using it. It was really interesting to read through the comments on that video because a lot of you guys told me that you had trouble with this. I read that a lot of you returned it, but there were a few people who said they didn't have any issue with it at all. And I think what's interesting about this palette is that it has more cream to powder shadows in it than any of her other mid-sized palettes. So if you don't like that formula, you're probably going to want to skip over this. That formula hasn't really bothered me in the past, but now that I think about it, I do feel like I kind of subconsciously skip over that formula in the other palettes that I own. So if I realized that and knew that there were like 4 of those shadows in this palette, I probably would have skipped it. I thought the color story was just really pretty and perfect for the summertime. So that is the reason why I picked it up, because you do get a mix of really gorgeous warm tones and cooler tones as well. Now, whenever I use this, the look does come together, and I'm always happy with how it looks in the end, but it's a little bit of a process to get there because some of the shadows just aren't as blendable and smooth as her other formulas, and you really have to work with them, kind of manipulate them, or maybe use a different technique than you normally would. I don't mind working with some tricky eyeshadows if I really like how it looks in the end, but this is an expensive palette. It's a $65 palette, and in my experience, Natasha Denona shadows have always been so smooth and blendable and just very easy to work with. They basically blend themselves and they always look so even on the eyes, and that's just not what I experienced with this palette. Not every single shadow, but quite a few of them. So for me, I don't think this is worth the $65 price tag. I think it looks good on the eyes once you get there, but for this price tag, I just expect it to be a little bit more consistent in terms of formula, and I would say skip this one and go for the bronze palette, the glam palette, even like the Love or Sunrise over this one, because this one has the most inconsistencies out of all of the 5 palettes I've tried. So I've been meaning to try out LA Girl shadows for a while, and I finally picked up a few of their palettes. I did get the Hey Hey Vaycay palette. This one is the Good Times and Tan Lines palette. There are two different ones. They look somewhat similar, but I liked this one a little bit better because it had slightly more variety, and a few of you guys told me that it is a good alternative or a good dupe for the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. So I decided to pick it up and try it out. I am wearing it on my eyes today. I have some of the lighter, softer shades, like from the top two rows on my eyes. So this palette comes with 16 shadows. I'll hold the palettes up next to each other so you can see what they look like. There are quite a few shadows in here that almost look like spot-on dupes, and then there are a couple that are very, very similar. So as a whole, it's not a complete copycat palette by any means. I think this color story is just a little bit more popular this summer than it has been over the past few summers. Warm-toned palettes with pops of blue were a thing a few years ago, and I feel like that's coming back. But if you're looking for a good alternative, you could definitely create quite a few similar looks using this one from LA Girl. This formula is really nice. The matte shadows are very blendable. They're different than Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona's mattes are really pigmented, and these are more buildable. So you start off slowly and then add more color to kind of build up the pigmentation. But I know that's actually a formula that a lot of people prefer, and I find that it's very easy to achieve the look you want because you're not going in with a super intense shadow right away. The foiled and metallic shadows are amazing. They are so intense. They kind of remind me of Natasha Denona when they're on the actual eye because they look so smooth and vibrant. I will say that I get a little bit of fallout with some of the shimmer shadows in here, so I just recommend doing your eyes first or using a really good eyeshadow primer. By the way, here's what the palettes look like next to each other. So as you can see, they're not necessarily identical dupes, but they're pretty close. You can get a very, very similar look, whether you're doing something colorful or cool toned, neutral, warm toned, it doesn't matter. So I just wanted to hold them up next to each other. Even if you normally like Natasha Denona, because I normally do, I feel like this is such a good alternative because you get a very similar color story, but it's a lot less expensive. And in my opinion, the consistency across the entire palette is a lot better compared to Natasha Denona. So I'm impressed by this one. It really is a good palette. So Buxom released a few new products. They did send me their Tiki Bar Eye and Cheek palette in the mail as PR. I was kind of surprised to get this because I did not give their White Russian palette a very good review at all. So I decided to try this one out to see if it was the same case or if it was a different formula, because I have tried Buxom eyeshadows in the past and Buxom cheek products and I've really enjoyed them. And I'm happy to say that this palette is significantly better than the White Russian palette. So again, it is a very similar layout. It comes with 6 eyeshadows and 2 cheek products. You do get one of their primer infused blushes. This one is Seychelles. I do own the single Seychelles. I swatched them next to each other. They are the exact same formula, the exact same color. So I'm really happy about that because Seychelles is one of my favorite blushes. It's just very smooth and blendable. And what's nice about the Wanderlust primer infused blushes, they kind of have like this lit from within glow to them. They're not shimmery or glittery, but they have a really nice sheen, so they look really healthy on the skin. And then you also get one of their Wanderlust highlighters in the shade Golden Hour, which is actually a new shade. They only have one highlighter shade in White Russian, which is like a pearly pink, and I love that one. That has become one of my favorite releases of 2021. So I've been hoping they would do more highlighters, and they did put one in here. This one's kind of like a pearly gold, and what's interesting is they swatch okay, but when you apply them to the skin, they look so smooth and they just give you a beautiful glow without enhancing texture. So the cheek products in here perform really well. They are on the lighter side. You can definitely build up the blush, but I think if you have a deeper or darker skin tone, you might maybe use it more so as like a blush topper because again, it does give you a very lit from within glow. So I think the shades are better than what you get in the White Russian palette, but they are still on the lighter side. As for the eyeshadows, you get one true matte shadow, one matte shadow with a ton of shimmer in it, and then the other 4 are shimmers or metallics. Some are a little bit more subtle and satin, some are more intense and vibrant. But again, these shadows perform really well. You can get a very simple look, you can do something a little bit more smoky and colorful, and I just feel like this is the Buxom eyeshadow formula I remember from using it in the past. It's actually even better than I remember. So overall, this one is better. I don't know that this is like my favorite color story that I've ever seen in a palette, but I really wanted to test it out to see what the quality was like, and I can definitely say the quality is there. It's significantly better than the White Russian palette. So if the color story appeals to you, I would say it's worth picking up. Along with the palette, they also released a limited edition set of glosses for the summertime. So these are their full-on plumping lip creams. So 3 of these were existing shades, and then they brought back 3 limited edition fan favorites. So you can check them out online. I'll swatch the 2 that I have for you guys. I'm wearing the shade Seychelles Breeze, and then I also have Ibiza Bomb. If you haven't tried this formula, it's very, very smooth on the lips. It does kind of plump your lips, give them a very smooth, even effect. It's very shiny, really glossy. It's not sticky, but it's stickier than other formulas that I've tried, so I do find that it stays in place a little bit better. These do smell a little bit different. Typically, they have like a very vanilla minty scent, but these have more of a tropical scent, which I was reading through reviews. Some people didn't like it, so keep that in mind. It's kind of like, I would say like a mango scent, but it is pretty strong when you initially apply it. You can't smell it once you have them on, but you do notice it as it's going on. So if you like the colors, these are some of my favorite glosses. I also tried the Buxom Plump Shot Collagen Infused Lip Serum. I did try this in my video where I tested out the Natasha Denona palette, and this does work to plump your lips. It's so interesting because I've tried a lot of lip plumpers over the years, and I feel like they either do nothing or they work and they're really painful, like the Too Faced lip injection. So for me, I'm just not going to use that because it's not worth it to me to have like temporarily plumped up lips if it's going to feel like a bee stung my lips. So if that's the case for you, this one might be a great option because this one does work well to plump up the lips. There's a little bit of tingling. It's not painful by any means. Like if you're on a scale of 1 to 10 and just say the Too Faced lip injection is a 10, this one is probably more like a 4. It's a little bit stronger than their glosses, but it's not anywhere near the Too Faced lip injection. But I do notice that my lips look visibly plumper when I use this product. It also kind of changes the color of my lips. So you can see it in the video where I'm testing this out for the first time. It made my lips look super pink. You can almost notice it if you're wearing more of a sheer lip product on top. So I either recommend going in with more of a vibrant lip color or maybe going over your lips with a little bit of concealer because it really did make them very, very bright. But it did make them look really smooth, a little bit bigger. So I do think that this works well. It's not a permanent solution by any means, but because it is clear, you can also throw it on top of whatever lip color you're wearing, and that will work well too. A few more high-end products before we switch gears and talk about some drugstore makeup. So I did buy the Urban Decay All-Nighter Translucent Softening Loose Setting Powder. I was so excited to try this out because the Urban Decay All-Nighter Pressed Powder is one of my favorites during the summertime. That one really does lock your makeup into place all day long, and if you have oily skin and set it with that powder, your makeup is not going anywhere, even on like a 90-degree day. I think I tried that one for the first time like 2 or 3 summers ago whenever they released it, and ever since then it's been in my collection. I've gone through it multiple times. So I decided to try this one out, and I would say that this one is not as strong, but this one does give your skin a very smooth, blurred finish. So if you're dealing with a lot of texture and you feel like powders tend to enhance that, this one might be a great option for you because I do feel like when I use this, my skin does kind of have more of like that airbrush blurred finish. It's very soft, very lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. Even if you really like pack the powder onto your skin, it doesn't feel like you have a lot of powder. Now, as for the cons, I don't really like the packaging. It does have that net style packaging, and any powder that comes like this always just makes a mess because when you dip your brush in, a lot of powder kicks up into the air. And because this one is so lightweight, I do feel like my foundation will move and settle and crease a little bit more when I use this. My skin also gets pretty oily by the end of the day when I use this product as well. So if you're looking for like a lightweight, barely there blurring powder, then I think you'll really like this. But if you want a waterproof setting powder that mattifies and keeps things into place, I would recommend the pressed powder instead. I'll link it below if you guys want to check it out. So I'll still keep this. I think I will use it, just not as often as I'll use the pressed powder during the summertime. Persona Cosmetics released these new bronze multi-sticks. These are meant for your eyes, your cheeks, and your lips. I have the shade Dune. So I've never tried a cream bronzer before, which I can't believe that's the case, but I really haven't because I've always been so intimidated by cream cheek products. So this year I've kind of gotten into cream blush, and I feel like I see so many people using cream bronzer online, and it looks amazing. So I was really nervous, but I went out of my comfort zone and I tried it out, and you guys, it is so good. It's so easy to work with. So after I do my foundation, I'll just kind of apply this product, blend it out with a brush or a sponge, and it looks good and it stays in place even after I set my foundation into place with powder. So I am impressed by this. I think the color is perfect for my skin tone. You can build it up a little bit. They only have 2 shades, but there's a pretty significant difference between the 2 shades because you can sheer it out to be a little bit lighter, build it up to be a little bit darker. I would love to see them expand the shade range even more. I was scrolling through Sephora's website. I feel like a lot of brands don't have cream bronzer sticks. So if you guys have any other alternatives that you recommend that have a better shade range, please let us know in the comments section below. And I'll definitely try out some additional options and share them on my channel. But I really do like this. I'm impressed by it. And if you're new to cream bronzer like me, then this might be worth checking out for you as well. Let's talk about some drugstore and affordable makeup products. e.l.f. expanded their Jelly Pop collection. So I really like the products that I've tried from the Jelly Pop collection, including the Jelly Pop face cleanser, the moisturizer. I did get the Jelly Pop primer, but I haven't tried that yet. So I'll let you guys know in a future video. But I did test out the other new additions that they just added in 2021. So I wanted to share my thoughts on them. Let me start with the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Glow Stick. Again, I've never really tried liquid or cream highlighters. I've tried more cream highlighters than I have cream bronzers because I know that I've at least tried like the Colourpop Super Shock highlighters, but this is very easy to work with. It gives your skin such a beautiful, wet looking glow in the best way possible. I really think it's such a nice summertime staple, and if you're looking for an affordable highlighter stick, I think you'll like this. It does layer on top of powder to some extent. I mean, you can use it on top of a light layer of powder, but I think it is best directly on top of your foundation because the blendability is significantly better. If you're just looking for like a very dewy, glowy, wet looking shine, I think you'll like this. And it's only, you know, a few dollars, I think maybe like $8. So it's probably a lot less expensive than something you can find at Sephora, but I do think the formula is a nice option. These are the Jelly Pop Juicy Glosses. I was so excited about these. I think these actually come in 3 shades, but I just have the 2. So I love all things watermelon scented this year. And by the way, this line does have like a very strong watermelon scent. That's something important to note, the highlighter included. So if you don't like scented products, you're going to want to skip over it. But I love watermelon scented products, and a watermelon lip gloss sounded amazing. I will say that these kind of have like a strange scent to them. They're not as watermelon scented as I thought they would be. They kind of have like a melon scent mixed with a plastic scent. It's not necessarily the most appealing. So first of all, I don't love that factor, but a lot of the other products do have really good, like strong, true watermelon scents, the glow stick included. So just keep that in mind. I will say that for $5, I'm not super impressed with these glosses. e.l.f. makes really good glosses. The Mint Melt lip glosses are really nice. They have like those $3 glosses that are really good too. I've heard the Plumping lip glosses are a great option, but I just find that these are kind of underwhelming. They're not necessarily super glossy on the lips. They are lightweight and they're not sticky, but they wear off very, very quickly, like within just a few minutes. I don't know. I personally just find them to be kind of underwhelming, and I feel like for $5 you can get another formula from e.l.f. that's just significantly better. The last new product is the Jelly Pop Luscious Lip Mask. So this does come with a little tiny scooper, so you don't have to use your finger if you don't want to. This is such a nice formula. I've tried so many lip masks recently because I just feel like that's kind of a staple these days. I hadn't really been wearing a lot of lip colors throughout the past year, so a lip mask has just been my go-to, and this one is such a nice texture. It's very, very soft, really glossy and incredibly hydrating. It just feels really great on the lips. This one does have like a true watermelon scent as well. So I just keep this one in my room as I'm getting ready. I usually apply it. You can use it overnight if that's something you want to do too. It is, I think, $5 or $6, so it's not like you need to run out and buy it if you do have another lip mask in your collection that you love. But if you are in love with all things watermelon scented this summer like I am, then I think you'll really enjoy using this product. And the formula does feel a lot better than quite a few lip masks that I've tried. A lot of lip masks are almost kind of like too thick and they're not soft and they don't spread very evenly on the lips. That's not the case with this one. It's so glossy, soft, smooth, and hydrating. Let's finish up with some Colourpop releases. So I wanted to share my thoughts on these products. I've been testing all of them out. I feel like whenever I review anything Colourpop, I'm always a little bit late to the game because they release so much. But I still want to come back and update you guys on the products I've actually tried out in case you're interested in knowing which ones are worth trying. They release so much that I feel like I've just kind of stopped trying to keep up with like immediate releases and first impressions, and instead focus on testing everything out really thoroughly and then come back and do a review for you. So anyway, I did try the Soul Body Face and Body Makeup. So I did get these in the mail as PR, but I was going to purchase them. So if they wouldn't have sent these to me, I would have paid full price for them and tried them out myself anyway. But I think I would have purchased the wrong shade because they sent me a couple. So I originally started off with one of the light shades, which was significantly too dark. And then I tried Fair 4, which was still too dark. So I actually went with Fair 2, which is the lightest shade. So this actually matches my skin perfectly. If you have significantly lighter skin than I do, it's probably going to be too dark for you. So I would maybe look up swatches before you buy because I thought they were going to be maybe a little bit more adaptable than they are. This product was originally created to be face or body makeup. It says that it is a creamy, light diffusing foundation and it gives you a flawless, soft, matte finish. It's supposed to be buildable, soft focus, and it's supposed to be like transfer proof because you can use it on your body. That description sounds like the perfect foundation for me, so I was really curious to try it out, and this really does last on the skin. I wore this yesterday and it was like 90 degrees out. I put it on in the morning at like 7:30, and my husband and I were like at the park for lunch. I think I was home by maybe like 2 or 3, so I think I had it on for like 7 or 8 hours. I didn't have to blot my skin once, and it still looked really good on my skin. It is more matte than I thought it was going to be. I did set mine into place with powder, but it really does last on the skin. It didn't settle into my fine lines or my texture, and it just wore really well throughout the day. So I'm definitely impressed by the longevity of this product. I would say the best way to use this is just like blend it in with your fingers or a large brush. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Fenty Blur skin tint in the way that it goes on, but I feel like this lasts on my skin significantly better. So I am really impressed by the formula. I don't really wear body makeup, but I do think as far as like body makeup and foundation goes, if I do take a foundation like onto my chest and my shoulders, if I'm wearing like a dress and it's a special occasion, this would be the formula I would go with because it does last really well. Colourpop did release some new palettes at Ulta Beauty. I don't know if they're coming to the Colourpop website or not. Sometimes they just do like Ulta Beauty exclusive palettes, and they did release this palette that caught my eye. This one is the High Tide. So it is a 9-pan greenish blue toned palette and it retails for $14. I told you guys in my haul video that I have a bunch of green Colourpop palettes, but I think I like this one better because of the blue undertones. You get some green shades, but you also get some aqua shades, some teals, and it's just so pretty. I think the tones are perfect. You also get light shades, deep shades, so you really can do quite a few looks with this one. It is a monochromatic palette, but it's not the same as some of their other monochromatic palettes. Like their mint palette is very light, everything is very minty, and then their Just My Luck palette has a little bit more versatility, but it's like a true green palette. I like that this one kind of falls in between like green and blue because I just think it looks so pretty on the eyes, and the shadows perform really, really well. I don't have any complaints with any of them. You get 5 true matte shadows, 1 matte with shimmer in it, and then 3 metallics. So I think there's a really nice variety within this 9-pan palette. If you like this tone, overall, like this greenish bluish tone, I think you'll really like this palette and get a lot of use out of it. The last thing I wanted to share my thoughts on is the Colourpop Malibu Barbie collection. I think I did kind of touch on this when I talked about it in a purchase or pass video, but I like this collection. I think it's a lot of fun for summertime. The palette is definitely my favorite thing in the entire collection, and sometimes with Colourpop collab palettes, it almost feels like they use like a little bit of a better formula, and I feel like that's the case with this one. The matte shadows are rich. They're super intense, really vibrant, and the metallic shadows are just like like extra buttery and smooth. So if the color story does appeal to you, the quality really is so good. And I like this color story for summer. I think the pinks are so pretty, the blues are a lot of fun, and then you get a bunch of warm tones and a few neutrals. And it really is like one of the best quality Colourpop palettes that I've tried this year. So I do love this one. And then in the collection, there are also 3 different lip kits. Each one comes with a liner and a matching Luxe lipstick. Again, I feel like these Luxe lipsticks are maybe just a little bit better than their other ones. They're very lightweight, so smooth and creamy. They feel like high-end lipsticks. And I have some of their Luxe lipsticks, but they're not formulas that I reach for super often. I feel like they're almost a little bit thicker than these. These are very lightweight, so comfortable. So again, if there is a shade that you like, I think the quality is definitely there and it's totally worth it. I like that they did matching duos. I'm someone who likes to have like a perfect match in terms of my lip liner and my lipstick, so these are really nice. The last product is the Colourpop Barbie Super Shock Highlighter. This is a very big highlighter. I talked about these in a video I did where I talked about makeup packaging I hate, and I decided to try it out because I wanted to share my thoughts on the full collection. The Super Shock Highlighter is gorgeous. It really is a beautiful shade, and I think it looks very smooth and seamless on the skin. I don't love like this giant packaging. I think that it's hard to open, and it just seems a little bit big and unnecessary. Even like a smaller highlighter would have been a little bit more ideal, but the quality of the Super Shock Highlighter is definitely there. The color is really pretty. The collection as a whole is really pretty. I think they did a good job with this. I'm always curious about their fun collaborations just because sometimes when it comes to collabs, brands kind of maybe lessen the quality, but I feel like Colourpop almost steps it up in terms of quality, and this collection did not disappoint. So I think that is everything I wanted to share with you guys in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful if you were thinking about trying out any of these products. Let me know if there's anything you want me to review in my next new makeup release roundup video, and I'll definitely add it to my list. But if you guys want to check out HelloFresh, I will link their website in the description box below, along with everything else that I talked about in today's video, and I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye.